This is going to be just a generalized video for everyone, all the viewers on my YouTube channel. But ultimately, what I focus on is the ego death, spirituality, enlightenment. If you are persisting on this channel, you are persisting in the fact that you spiritually are willing and ready to die. The clock strikes midnight when you make the realization. When you make this inner realization, you have died before death. And it is in a very immediate, abrupt, sudden moment. You will feel a flooding of emotions, every emotion you can think of in one moment, because what do they say? Death is a grieving process. There's sadness, there's pain, there's rejection, there's anger, there's fear, and then there's acceptance. There's a few, stages. It's the very same with yourself, the ego death. People talk about so heavily their loved ones, family flashing before their eyes, their life flashing before their eyes. The final conspiracy is with you and yourself. So by you persisting on this YouTube channel, the only videos I post on here are pertaining to you dying. And what I mean by dying is the end of your beliefs. You are willing and ready to know yourself here and now, so that when this body gives out, you will know yourself. There is no next. There is no after you. When you truly know who you are, when you've made this realization, the questioner has experienced death. Therefore, you have no questions left. And that is why this knowledge is considered all-knowing, because there is no question. The questioner is the answer, and the answer is the question. The two are always one and the same. You can apply that to all of duality. All of duality is one. They appear separate. They're always the same. The black, the white, the on, the off, the here, the there, the you, the me, the above, the below, etc., etc. Sun, moon, male, female, they all always appear separate, always on the surface, because they have to. Always. However, duality is not the law. Duality is only the law for the ego. But it is who we think we are that is chasing this idea of truth. We're trying to capture it. We're trying to confine it. We're trying to study it. We're trying to learn it. You will never make the realization in this fashion, because you are trying to understand the it through a foreign lens. And the ultimate realization is the lens you're trying to understand it through does not exist. There never was a you as the Tyler. Tyler will never understand the cosmos. Tyler will never understand God. And in the video I just posted about the Alien Code movie, when he keeps asking the super intelligent being, how is your world, where you live, and how are you, and how is this information and all that, and he just keeps telling him, you would not understand. And it's true. You will never understand until you are willing to pay the final price, and that is your every belief. All our beliefs are basically what's reinforcing the facts, or what we think to be facts. But when you look beyond the surface, you'll realize all these beliefs are just the glue to your reality. When you peel back these layers and keep asking questions and looking deeper and deeper and deeper, inevitably you will be led to that moment behind the screen. You will be led to the projector. The question is, will you surrender? Are you willing to really know yourself? As the video says in the Alien Code video I just posted, without time, man has no cracks to hide in. Without separation, the human has no place to hide. So while we're persisting on these questions of who we are, our origin, and where we come from and all that, careful you don't make it there too soon, because a part of an ego death is facing all your expectation and realizing it's not what is. So again, it's a flooding of emotions. An ego death is you facing what you have never been, and likewise facing what you truly are in an instantaneous moment. And this is what puts you in sync with everything around you, the entire universe, because you'll realize time is an illusion, place is an illusion, people are an illusion, things are an illusion, because all this is a part of separation. And what you will realize is there... Sorry, got the cold air blowing right down my throat. There is only one mind here. There is only one mind here, and that mind is what's projecting it all. That mind is what's viewing it all, what's watching it all. Hence the term, the all-seeing eye. This is why the elites, the people in power and of wealth, this is why they speak through the singular eye. A symbol can speak 1,000 words without uttering a single sound, because the singular eye is the highest symbol there is. Think about it. If you wanted to save a game or save your progress to you discovering that you are God, you are the it, you are everything, but you couldn't speak to yourself, you could only use symbols. What symbol would you use to depict it's all one? And that's why they chose the singular eye, illuminating out, because there is only one seer, there is only one consciousness, there is only one mind, which means time is an illusion. Again, every book that's ever been written has been picked up by the very same hand that wrote it through different names. And you read it through different names, trying to understand it through different names, but you're not making the connection because you're identifying with the foreign lens. When you make the connection to all of history, all of time, when you obliterate the foreign lens, when you experience the ego death and go straight to the source. Tyler, again, will never understand source, will never understand the universe. There was a price to be paid in Tyler knowing source, and that was discovering before it was time for me to exit this physical vessel that Tyler never was. There never was this character called Tyler. Tyler is a belief. Tyler is a bunch of constructed thoughts, a bunch of memories, is a bunch of ideas. That's who our character is. That's what we take on. We take on our beliefs. We become our beliefs. That's how we become limited. And that is how this reality becomes dull, becomes boring, becomes hell. This is how we manifest whatever we believe through the mind. Hence, seeing is believing. And this is why no one sees what you see, even if they're looking at it too. We're all only seeing the depths of our own mind. But again, there is only one mind, so we're all identifying as different minds, as different characters, but that's because we've taken on different characters through the source of consciousness. And that's how religions get distorted. They get distorted through the names, through the... What's the word? Anyway, they get distorted through egos, through names. People want to claim this is God, that's God, this image is God, that image is God. And that's where truth can get distorted. Because the truth of the matter is God is all of them. God is all names. God is all places. God is all things. Why? Because the place, your presence, you being here, evokes the place. There is no place without you. So the person and the place, the inside and outside, the above, the below, are one and the same. You don't make the connection, you don't bridge the gap between all of duality until you do this within. The big event that this spiritual community is waiting for is you waiting for yourself. The big event that we try and make about star alignments and, the certain months and time's an illusion again. So it's not the exact time you think it is. And even with the stars aligning and all this certain stuff, that's still hope and chance. You're waiting for something beyond yourself. You are the it the whole time. You are something so much powerful than what you're willing to comprehend and accept. And again, it's terrifying. It is terrifying. Our man's biggest fear is ourself beyond our own comprehension. Our biggest fear is that we are powerful beyond our own measure, with more power than what we know what to do with. And that's the truth of this, is we have more power than what we know. If we can change our reality just by gaining some information or learning a few things, you're telling yourself the world is a projection. You're changing your reality by changing your thoughts, by changing your mind, by changing what you believe. Is the earth round? Is the earth flat? Again, no one's seeing what you see, even if they're looking at it too. People think the governments are holding out on some shape of the earth. It is so much deeper than that. You want to talk about being afraid. It's terrifying when these people, these agencies have hit the wall in space and they've realized there's nowhere to go. Because then you have to propose the question, where are we? And this is where the truth gets stranger than fiction. But again, the average person will, as a defense mechanism, laugh at this and say, you're smoking crack, or you're doing something crazy, or, it's a defense mechanism to protect and not shatter your reality. Because again, if you keep going further down this hole, this little rabbit hole, inevitably what it's going to cost you is yourself. That is what people don't realize. This is what cannot be sold to you through mainstream spirituality, because this is where you face the dark night of the soul. This is where you have to face yourself at once. This is where the belief in mysticism ends. And again, very few are serious about awakening. Many still want to decorate the idea of what an awakening is and create what an awakening is through their ego and through their egoic lens. To some people's ego, an awakening, is being in tune with the universe, or, they decorate it with these words, but you've yet to experience the words. So you ultimately don't know what you're saying. And what I mean by this is, think of the end game. Okay, so you get in tune with source, you align all your chakras, you reach the crown chakra. Then what? There's always that then what. Awakening and enlightenment is not a stage, a game. It's not a stage game. It's not a stage of levels. Again, when you experience the ego death, which is enlightenment, it is so instantaneous and immediate, you have no time to prepare yourself to even do anything but marvel in the impossibility of what this is. Because again, we have all these pre-assumed notions and ideas of what this is, but we've yet to meet ourselves here. We've yet to experience what this actually is. The majority of people in the spiritual community have turned this into hell on earth because to us, awakening is finding out that the celebrities are clones, or, the governments are trying to kill us, or they're poisoning our food, or this or that. Whatever which way you think of it, it's all negative. You're manifesting hell every day. Every which way you look, someone's trying to harm you, someone's trying to kill you, someone's trying to enslave you, someone's trying to keep you here. Someone's trying to keep you in a lower consciousness. But this is you playing games with the ego. And the reason we play games with the ego is because, again, as much as we want it to end, we're not willing to face the end right here and now. If someone asked you, do you want to know the end? Do you want to know what happens after death? Anybody would say yes, but do you want to experience it right here and now so you can know? You wouldn't get so many yeses. And this is what Alan Watts referred to as, many people are flirting with the idea of awakening. And again, there's nothing wrong with this. To answer someone's question, the whole purpose of this video was to answer this question right here. Is this required? Is this for everybody? Absolutely not. There's a reason why this will never be mainstream, because it cannot be. On a massive scale, it is reality shattering. And it's not for everybody. This would collapse society. So this will never be known on a massive scale. However, those few who need to know, require to know, who continuously keep questioning their reality, or maybe you're suffering more than you're experiencing joy, you're looking for the way out by any means, and you want to know that answer, you are willing to pay that final price of yourself. And when I say yourself, I mean every belief you thought is fact, even as stupid as it sounds. The sky is blue. My feet touch the ground. The dumbest of beliefs you can think of, abolish all of them. Because as dumb as it sounds, it may be obvious as heck to everybody. The sky is blue. The ocean's blue. Our feet touch the ground, etc. These are trees, birds. As much as we think we know this stuff, it's all belief. And again, you can't know what I mean until until you pay that final price, until you surrender yourself to this moment, so that you can break through this confine of time, this confine of beginning and end. Again, why don't we understand beginning and end, life and death? Because we're trying to understand it through the foreign lens of the ego, and the ego has never existed. So what you're trying to understand the macrocosm through does not exist. Therefore, you will never understand the macrocosmic aspect of it. The only way you will ever fully know the macrocosmic scale of everything, which is truly yourself, is by paying the final price of what you think to be yourself, the one who's trying to understand it. And once you pay that final price, then you break through separation, because then you are seeing once and for all who you truly are. And once you see who you truly are, you can never believe in yourself as this separate character again. That's the price that's paid. That's losing yourself to find yourself. That's where the phoenix gets its association from with the spiritual community. You're bursting into flames only to rise from your own ashes. What you thought was your demise was only your beginning. Only it's a recognized beginning, because you recognize this time nothing is beginning. So again, no, this is not for everybody. These videos are not for everybody. This enlightenment and ego death is not for everybody. But the reason I focus so much on that is because this is what I'm here to do. And not just that, once you know, you know. And what else is there to do? Once Buddha knew, what did he do? He went back into town to share what he knew. It's natural. What you want to shout it to the world, but you understand that this is not for everybody. You understand how reality shattering this is, and that it is not for everybody. That's why. And that it goes back to the governments. Once you understand and have had your reality shattered, you understand this elite group is not keeping information from people, is not keeping you in a lower level of consciousness. They are protecting society. They're protecting reality as you know it. If you want to keep existing separate, if you want to keep existing through time, if you want to keep, having the boundaries of what you know to be life right now, that is what they are protecting. They cannot disclose all the information they've discovered, because it would be the end of you. Which is why I say, for those who are persisting, who are wanting to go further, who want to know, who refuse to not know, it will be the end of you. And this is what true spirituality is. It's not for you to return or come back. Because again, there is no next, there is no after, there is no coming back. Nothing ever left and nothing ever entered. Nothing began and nothing ended. Never born, never died. You are not what is transpiring through this moment. You are the moment itself. The moment is revealing to you what is not changing, what is not moving at all. It is your presence the whole time. You are the fixed point on the clock, which is not moving, which is not changing, yet everything is happening around, because again, your presence evokes the place. So when you talk about where are we, you're nowhere. But again, the average person in society will laugh at this. How idiotic. Because it sounds mental. Nothing can be nowhere. But when you get to the bottom of atomic matter, it's 99.999 whatever percent empty space. What fills that empty space? What is inside these objects that are empty space? We can laugh about it, but we must get to the root. What is behind it? It is your consciousness. It is your mind that is shaping and creating everything you see through your belief. which brings you back to yourself. It is you. You are waiting for the whole time. Nothing changes here until you do. Governments rising and falling, taking power, giving power. Economy collapses, banks collapses, news, etc. These are all algorithms that repeat in this game, if you want to call it that, until forever. And what I mean by it's an algorithm is it's just background noise. It'll always be there. There'll always be this government, this person that thinks they have control, that person that thinks they have control, this group, that group, this bank, that bank. But ultimately, there is only one law here. And that's why a Buddha does not seek governing. A Buddha does not need governing. Again, to know is to be in sync with the entire cosmos. You won't need commandments. You won't need a book. You won't need anyone or anything to tell you who, what, where, or how to be. Purpose, place, and meaning will instantaneously be felt at your heart. What should you be doing here? What is your purpose? What is your meaning? Ultimately, in the non-dual sense, there is no meaning, there is no purpose. It's who you think you are that is trying to establish a purpose, a meaning through your limited identity. Because we can't just exist here and do nothing. We have to have a purpose, we have to have a meaning, or else. But that's what we don't realize. Once you have broken through the laws of duality, once you see beyond this screen and realize you are ultimately nowhere, this is a place of your own. You're in a world of your own, within your own mind. Once you see this, you realize there is nowhere to go. You've seen through all the moving images on the screen right to the source. And it allows you to realize you've been identifying and attaching to all the moving images and parts that you've been seeing. But that's what DMT does. When you do DMT, there is so much moving and going on, you have no space, no time, no anything to attach or hold yourself onto. And that's the point. You're not supposed to attach the mind or the memory to a single person, place, or thing. And again, some people may hear that through the egoic sense and say, well, that doesn't make sense. What do you mean we're not supposed to attach to the mind or the memory? I am my mind memory, and that is the ego talking. Again, remember, it is the ego's job to safeguard itself. It is the ego's job to defend itself till the very last second, which means your ego is not just going to give you the truth. It's not just going to bring you the truth. Your ego, who you assume yourself to be, its job is to protect and defend itself from you each and every day. And what I mean by from you is by your persistence, by your seeking, by you constantly trying to chase truth. Again, you don't realize it, but it will be the end of you. I went into my journey thinking I was going to meet God, only to realize, because I got asked the question several times, are you sure you want to know? Are you sure you want to know? Are you sure you want to know? And I kept saying yes, and it kept saying, but are you sure you want to know? And I didn't realize why it kept asking me, but why it kept asking me is because once you know, you know. So it's a very serious choice you make when you awaken, metaphorically. When you make this realization, you are surrendering what you think to be yourself momentarily. That is what's dying, your belief, your limitation. And what happens in that moment is you meet yourself for the first time. If you haven't, I would encourage you to watch the Alien Code video that I posted just before this. The video is called this video is the most accurate depiction of an ego death. You know, you are it. That's the video. I just posted it before this one. But I would encourage you to watch that video before this video, because I'm referring to that video a lot. That video definitely inspired me to make this video. It is the most accurate depiction I've ever seen of an ego death. What you don't realize is that higher being that's sitting across the table from him is him the whole time. And that's why he keeps telling him, you're killing me, you're killing me. Because one piece at a time, he's chipping away. He's answering his questions to who he is one piece at a time, till finally the super intelligence asks him, you know, what do you think happens when you know too much, when you may, you know, I don't know the exact words. Again, you'll have to watch it. But he says to the super intelligence, we become you. And that's just it. You don't become the it. You realize you have been the it the whole time. And what you were trying to understand the it through never was. That is the ego death. That is the ego dying. When you face what never was, you are viciously experiencing the ego death. You are literally mourning the loss of yourself, what you thought to be yourself. It begins sad, it begins painful, it begins frightening, but it brings clarity after, because again, there are stages to grieving, to death. It's the very same with yourself. The end stage is acceptance. And once you've accepted you died, once the tears are gone, once the emotion is gone, once you are gone, because that's what you are mourning, the loss of yourself, I don't want to say any words because I'm trying not to confuse people here. You don't sit back, but you just think to yourself, you know, all these emotions, all these thoughts, all this fear, and you think, if I have died, if I'm crying over myself right now, then what is here to tell me I have died? What is here to tell me, to report that I'm gone, that I've died? And again, that's when you realize you've been the it the whole time. How it happened to me is the same way in that video, there was a super intelligence talking to him. I didn't have an image to put to what I was talking to. I just had a voice. And I knew in my journey that that voice was representing God, was representing that super intelligence. So when it kept asking me, are you sure you want to know? Are you sure you want to know? And I kept saying, yes, 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 yes. It finally asked me one final time, this is the final chance. Are you sure you want to know? And I said, yes, yes, yes. And the voice was gone. The voice disappeared. The super intelligent voice that was God to me, that I was talking to, that was leading me to it, disappeared. And I was left in this void, this absence of anything at all, looking around. And when you're having an out-of-body experience, you, again, have no body, hence the word out-of-body. So when you look down, you have no legs, you have no body, you have no chest, you have no arms, you have no anything. You can look in any direction you want and you see nothing. Because what has happened in that very instantaneous moment is your beliefs have been abolished. And what happens when your beliefs are abolished, you have died. There's nothing to attach to, there's nothing to hold on to. Therefore, you see nothing but void, but the absence of anything. Because it's showing you to yourself at once. You are not the mind memory. You are the presence that evokes all these images, all these people, places, things. You are what's behind it all. So this voice disappeared. It left me. And I was, again, time is an illusion. So I didn't have a concept of time, but it felt like I was sitting here for years and years and years, trying to make the connection. Hello? And I'm trying to talk to this voice again that just disappeared. Are you sure you want to know? Yes, I want to know. And I'm trying to talk to it again. Hello? 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 There's nothing there. There's no one there. And eventually, I was there for so long that I finally made the realization. I experienced the ego death in that immediate moment when I made this connection. That voice that was representing God, that was leading me to God, was my own voice. It was me the whole time. I put an identity to God. I put an image to God. I had an expectation of what meeting God would be. But again, Tyler, who created this expectation of God, has never existed. So what do you think his expectation of God is going to be? Likewise, an illusion. It's not going to be there. So eventually you're led to make this realization that you're not meeting God. The ego death is you meeting yourself for the first time. The ego death is you breaking through all separation, all time, all events, all people, places, things. And in this immediate moment, all duality merges into that single unity of one. And this is why I stress all of duality is one. So many people ask me, how do you know this? Because when you know, you know. Only the ego believes in duality. Only the ego requires duality. And again, there are so many people out there in the spiritual community that will tell you duality is the law and cannot be broken. But again, it is your ego's job to defend and safeguard itself from the moment you rise till the moment you fall. So the ego is not just going to walk you to the yellow brick road, to the truth. It's going to defend and protect it at any means. And that's why we tell ourselves the government is keeping us from the truth. They're keeping information from us. NASA's lying about the shape. NASA's lying about where. All these are just distractions keeping us from the inevitability of ourselves, of who we truly are, of our character, of our veil, of our name, of our job description, of our title. You can only describe yourself so much until you have no words left, because you are not the words, you are not the description, you are not what you are trying to describe. You are not the title, you are not your job, you are not your family, you are not anything that you can describe. You are the impossibility that is this existence. To even call this life, to even have an assumption of what this is, simply dirties it, it muddies it.